The boy's hands are clasped tightly around his knees, his head bowed as he tries to shut out the memories that haunt him with tears glistening in his eyes. The uncle, still seated in the shadows, looks at the boy with an expression of disapproval, the dim light highlighting the lines on his face, revealing a lifetime of hardened experiences. A young boy around 12 years old sits on the cold wooden floor of a dimly lit, decaying house. His large, sorrowful eyes stare off into the distance, reflecting the weight of a tragic past, the loss of his family in a terrible accident. His clothes are worn and oversized, his thin frame hinting at neglect. Behind him in the shadows, his stern uncle sits in a chair, his presence cold and distant, offering no comfort or warmth. The air in the room is heavy with dust, old papers, and books stacked haphazardly, while a single window allows a faint, pale light to cast long shadows. The boy is trapped in a life of hardship, longing for an escape from his cruel reality. Each day in the house felt like an eternity for the boy. The silence was suffocating, broken only by the occasional creak of the wooden floor or the rustling of papers as his uncle absent-mindedly flipped through old documents. Meals were sparse, often just a piece of stale bread or a bowl of watery soup. His uncle never spoke unless it was to bark orders or scold him for something trivial. At night, the boy curled up on a thin mattress in the corner of the room, staring at the cracked ceiling, his mind replaying the memories of his parents, their laughter, their warmth, their love. But those memories were fading like a dream slipping away upon waking. He tried to hold on to them, but the cold reality of his new life crushed them bit by bit. One evening, as the wind howled outside, the boy overheard his uncle speaking to someone in hushed tones. He crept closer to the door, pressing his ear against the rough wood. "He's useless," his uncle muttered. "I don't have time to take care of a burden. Maybe someone else will take him off my hands for a price." The boy's heart pounded. Was his uncle planning? The boy's heart pounded as he stuffed a small piece of bread into his pocket. The house was dark, his uncle's snores deep and steady. This was his chance. Barefoot, he crept toward the door, each step careful, every creak in the floor making him pause. His breath hitched as he reached for the rusty doorknob. Slowly he turned it, wincing at the faint squeak. As the door creaked open, a rush of cool air swept through, sending shivers down his spine. He hesitated for a moment, peering into the darkness beyond, wondering if freedom awaited him, or if danger lurked just out of sight. With one last glance at the sleeping figure, he took a deep breath and stepped into the unknown. As he stepped cautiously into the shadowy hallway, his heart raced louder than ever. The walls were adorned with faded photographs, remnants of a life he barely knew, and an unsettling silence wrapped around him like a thick fog. Every step felt heavy, each whisper of the floorboards echoing in the stillness. As he ventured further into the unknown, a gust of cold night air hit his face as the door cracked open. Beyond it lay the unknown, freedom or danger. He took one last glance at the house that had become his prison. Then, without looking back, he stepped into the night and ran. With each step, the adrenaline surged through him, pushing him farther away from the life he had known. The night wrapped around him like a cloak, hiding him from the past and beckoning him toward an uncertain future. He paused momentarily, the echoes of the city reverberating in his ears, contemplating the dangers that lay ahead. In that stillness, the allure of freedom clashed with the haunting memories he sought to escape. Pushing forward, he could feel the thrill of liberation coursing through his veins. Each step was a declaration of his intent to break free from the chains that had held him captive for far too long. The boy ran until his legs ached, branches scratching his arms as he stumbled through the dense forest. The night was cold and hunger gnawed at his stomach, but he pushed forward, refusing to go back. By dawn, exhaustion overtook him. He collapsed near a fallen tree, his breath, ragged eyes heavy. Just as sleep threatened to pull him under, the sound of hooves crunching leaves made him jolt awake. The boy sat upright, heart racing as he turned toward the sound of approaching hooves, fear and curiosity mingling in his chest. Emerging from the mist were silhouettes of riders on horseback, cutting through the fog like shadows sent from another world. The boy's expression was a blend of awe and fear as the riders drew closer, their imposing figures contrasting with his small stature. Cloaked in mystery, the riders navigated the forest with grace, creating an enchanting scene as the morning light bathed them in a golden glow. An old man on a horse approached, his sharp eyes scanning the boy's frail figure. His face was weathered, lined with years of hardship, yet his gaze held something unfamiliar: concern. The boy tried to run, but his body wouldn't move. The old man dismounted, kneeling beside him. "You look just like your father," he murmured. The boy's eyes widened. "I am your grandfather," the man said, "and I have been looking for you." For the first time in years, hope flickered in the boy's heart. His destiny had just changed. The boy, with wide eyes and a mixture of disbelief and hope, stares up at the old man as sunlight breaks through the clouds, illuminating their faces. A small, fragile hand reaches out hesitantly towards the grandfather, bridging the gap of years lost. In the background, a serene landscape of rolling hills and wildflowers, swaying gently in the breeze, creates a backdrop for this emotional reunion, emphasizing the significance of their moment.